I grew up 3606 Mercer Street, one of 5 kids, lived with my mom. Man, awesome times, played a lot of football, street football. One of the major values that I picked up from my mom was, you might not have a role model, but you can take different pieces from everybody you know that you like and make something. So if I liked how one of my mentors dressed, I would take that. If I like how somebody articulated themselves, I would learn to speak and do Toastmasters. How somebody managed money or always had money in your pocket. I would say, okay, what can I do to make sure I always have cash? I basically just take bits and pieces from everybody around me. And that's kind of just one core principle that I learned from, growing up from Pritchard, especially from my mom. I have a client of mine, and she's a well-known person, and we was kind of having this discussion yesterday. Without people like her, or people like the 100 Black Men, or people like colleges, Morehouse College, or the Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama, now AG Gas and Boys and Girls Club, there would be no Ronnie Race. And I think a lot of times people forget where they came from. And I don't think they do it intentionally. I think, and Tyler Perry said this best, a lot of times because people have had such a rough upbringing, they try to forget, what happened, but in that process of forgetting the harsh realities, you also forget about the good times as well. So me and what I do in the community is really just a reflection of what I saw growing up. Taking my first plane ride with the Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama. Becoming a McNair Scholar at Morehouse College, which paid for my Ph.D. program. Or, the 100 Black Men giving me scholarships and things of that sort while I was in Atlanta. So it's really more about, when you say a full circle, about just giving back to what has already given back to me. Because essentially, I would not be who I am. I wouldn't be dressed the way I'm dressed. I won't be articulating the way that I'm articulating right now. If it wasn't for these programs, the Toastmasters, and being cultured, and flying on planes and visit different countries. I would say I can attribute that to my dissertation chair, Dr. Bruce Winston, at Virginia University, Virginia Beach, Virginia. He's now retired. Well, he's still teaching, but he retired as the dean. And he always say, the first thing you learn in PhD school is that you know nothing. There's so much stuff out there you don't know. And as much education I have, I'm ignorant of a lot of stuff. So I always keep that in the back of my mind when I'm addressing different people, no matter what race, no matter how much money you make, no matter how you dress, is that everybody knows something about something, okay? And everybody knows nothing about a lot of stuff. And as long as you don't try to, prop yourself up to be something that you're not, that's the biggest thing that I see. A lot of successes and failures, and the reason why a lot of people don't like to come out of their shells, those judges and PhDs and stuff like that, it's because they like being the master of their craft, and they don't want to show their vulnerability. But here's the thing, when you're dealing with a lot of kids and you always have the community, you want to always encourage people to be more than where they are. Always remember that. You want to encourage people to be more than where they are. Because really, a lot of kids, they're in the situation they're in, they didn't have any choice. So if you were to take that same kid and place them in a more affluent neighborhood, they probably can be half the kids in that neighborhood, because they learn how to be resourceful. They learn how to read on the fly. They learn to do their homework on the bus on their way home because their lights were off. Stuff that I had to do. So that's what I always keep in the back of my mind, and I always just respect everybody's differences. I've been taught and I've learned is if you want to hide something from somebody, you put it in the book. Everybody wants to talk about, well, I can read an article, or they watch the documentary, they watch this, blah, blah, blah. But a book is one of the most concise, well-prepared documents to inform you. Because you got to think, it has to go through an author, it has to go through an editor, it has to go through somebody who makes sure that grammar expert and stuff like that. So you at least have 3 or 4 eyes to look at it. And it's only one component, words, versus a video where you got the foliage, the sound in the background, the angles. So you got like 30 people on it, but it's not really about a very concise message. It's a book. And so for me, what I found out, if I want to expound my experiences, if I want to expound my experiences, my knowledge, and just get a different thought on something else, if I can't afford to buy a plane ticket to, let's say, New York, or go to Chicago, or the Florida trading stocks and things of that sort, I can pay 30 bucks for a book. And yeah, it might take me a week to read it, but guess what? I'm getting almost all that knowledge from a Warren Buffett, who sat down and took time to teach people how to invest. Or if it's a Tony Robbins, how do I get myself out of this slum of my life? I can go read Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, where he sat down and really thought something out. Whereas I wouldn't be able to go spend 30 bucks and spend one-on-one time with a Warren Buffett or Tony Robbins or Les Brown, things of that sort. So my thing with books is just more so of when I feel like I want to get outside the geographical location as well as the group thing of where I am, a book is the cheapest, easiest, and the most thought-provoking way of doing it. It all started when I moved up to Birmingham and started to go to law school. I was very scared to death. I was very nervous. Originally, a good friend of mine, Ricardo Woods, and Carlos Finley. Carlos Finley now is running for mayor of Mobile. But I was in this big office overlooking the water and, doing my research and stuff like that because of my Ph.D. And my friends telling me all the stuff that they do and the cases that they work. And I was like, man, that sounds good, but how much money you make? And they told me how much money they make. So how much money you get to keep? I think he said like 6 million. I said, how much money you get to keep? He was like, 40%. I said, I started doing the numbers. That was at least a little over 2 mil. And I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and see what this law school stuff is about. But also my older brother is serving life in prison, so that's one of my ways to contribute back to him. So moved up to Birmingham. Long story short, worked with a solo practitioner, Rachel McDaniel. Taught me a lot about the game. Started working landed one of my biggest clients, who was a billionaire. While I was in law school because of relationships. That's one reason why I'm so big on relationships. Then I got a friend of mine, Big Ron Brown. I'll be watching this, man. Thank you for everything you do. He always would talk about this guy, Alexander Schnarr. And if everybody in Southeast knows that Schnarr owns the billboards. So I started working with Schnarr for 2 days. Volunteer, I just wanted to get to know how he do what he does. We developed a close relationship. Long story short, began to just do a lot of stuff in the firm, passed the bar, and worked with him for a while. And we always had this running joke, like, hey, Ronnie, everybody would think, oh, Ronnie gonna jump to another law firm. Alex like, no, if Ronnie leaves, he gonna start his own. It's like, cause I know him all too well. And he's always been supportive of me. I can always call and ask him for advice and text him advice about different building a business, things of that sort. So I know this sounds like an advocate calling him, but hey, he's really truly a friend. Love him to death. He's a brother. He's not a friend. He's family. As well as his wife and his daughters, and his family, mom and dad, sisters, all of them love him to death. So yeah, that's kind of my legal journey in a nutshell. I got plenty of stories I can infuse in there, but I don't think we have the time. What I always tell people when they ask me what I do, the simple question is everything. I am the law firm that you want to always have in your corner. When I tell people when they hire me, you hire not only me, but you hire my relationships. And my sympathy, my empathy, my concern to make sure that you're good and your business is performing well on all fronts. Obviously, I'd be remiss. I do handle car accident cases. I know that like the back of my hand. Also, I do business. I do a lot of business, do a lot of probate, and also doing some immigration, doing property. But essentially, that's just all spent out. So when my clients would call and say, hey, Rod, I gotta get this done. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's get it done. We have a team of attorneys. Even though we're a young firm, we have a team of attorneys that work with us and work with each other and entire staff. Customer service, communication, and making sure that you're comfortable wherever transition you are in your case. 205-222-9815, that's my cell. Feel free to call or text 205-222-9815. Send me a DM, direct message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it doesn't matter. All my social media handles are Get Rights Now, GETRCENOW. I got a podcast, YouTube page, all that stuff, all that same handle, Get Rights Now. Oh, my podcast is Success Page, my apologies. It's on Apple, Spotify, all the stuff. So I like my tagline, I guess we'll say, is motivation, law, and business. Everybody, when I first started doing it, everybody's like, what are you talking about motivation? What does that have to do with law? What does it have to do with business? Always remember this. Everybody is going through something, whether it's personal, business, whatever. And it does not hurt to be motivated. I always say a positive person can achieve more than what a negative person can achieve. And the reason why I say that is because even if the positive person fails 50% of the times that he tries, he still is going to be 0 times that the negative person never tries. So let me say it again. A positive person will always outbeat a negative person. Because if the positive person fails 50% of the time, he's still beating out the person who tries 0% none of the time. So that's my story.